Welcome to the Real Estate Show on KMED. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the real estate guys, with you here on April the 30th, the last day of April, as the 2016 real estate selling season is in high gear, really, all over Jackson, Josephine counties. Lots of activities. We were talking about having that gap. Remember, we had so many sales and the listings, we're not keeping up with those sales. It's been going on for a couple of years now. And there are more listings coming on, Joe. No question about that. Yep. At the John L. Scott office meeting this last week, we always get to go through new listings, and usually there's maybe 3/4 of a page, half a page, sometimes almost to the bottom of the page. This was a page and a half. Mm-hmm. So there are more coming on. No
That's
question
a good sign.
about that.
And every day on the MLS 35, we're in the mid-30s of new listings that are coming on, and I'm working hard in Grants Pass and the East Medford markets right now for new leads to get right on top of those. And boy, as soon as they show, and in fact, our John L. Scott office does a great job of getting the word out ahead of time to our agents what's coming on the market, and really puts our clients in a little position to get ahead of things. So it's been interesting to watch, and tight inventory, but there is some inventory coming on, it looks like.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of sales going on, too. So anyway, the statistics will be out in a few weeks, and we'll update you on that and see exactly where we are.
We still have more buyers than we do homes to sell them.
And the big problem, though, if you don't own one, if you're trying to rent one, is that you can't do that either.
You got it even tougher.
Well, Danielle Roberts is the co-owner of Sterling West Property Management. They're located, in fact, in the John L. Scott complex there in Medford Center, and Danielle, first of all, welcome to the show. Nice to have you back with us.
Hi, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah, so, what's been going on with, property management? Is it as crazy as we're talking about the real estate market?
It's actually very similar. It goes with the same cycle that real estate goes. We have tight inventory.
Yeah.
We have more renters than we have properties to put them in. Trying to pick up listings. That's our big push, too.
I remember when you were here, it was several months ago now. I think you said that Sterling West, you had, I think it's over 300 properties that you managed. You had only 3 vacancies at that time. What is it like today here at the end of April?
Today we have closer to 400 properties.
Wow.
And we have absolutely nothing available at the moment.
That is absolutely amazing. Think about that. Yeah. Hillary Rufai is also here with Danielle. She's a property manager with Sterling West, and Hillary Joe is an Ashland girl. Grew up here in the Rogue Valley. One of our favorite people because you've come back to the Valley now after. First of all, welcome to the show, Hillary.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Tell us about how did your route get back down to here?
Well,
Talk right into that thing there.
I'm happy to be here for sure. I moved back down here, kind of an interesting turn of events with Danielle. She sent out a letter kind of recruiting licensed property managers in Oregon.
Okay.
Very creative of her. And I responded. It was actually a day or two after I got home from the hospital from having my baby. So I was actually on my maternity leave at the time, but worked out really well. We hit it off right away and made the move to come down here. So I guess I am part of that statistics about relocating. Yeah, definitely.
Well, good for you. Welcome. You're glad you're back here.
Thank
but
you.
You have also a property management background. I mean, you were telling me you were up in the Willamette Valley somewhere. Tell me what that rental market area is like.
I do. Yeah, actually, it goes way back to the beginning. I grew up in the real estate property management field. My parents from Ashland have properties, and my dad's an attorney, my mom's a property manager, so I kind of grew up operating that, cleaning apartments.
You had no choice.
Yeah, exactly. So once I decided to go to college, I went to University of Oregon and graduated with a public relations degree from there. Realized that I didn't actually want to do PR specifically, got my property management license and jumped right into property management, and I've been going forward with that ever since.
Boy, talk about it being in your blood, huh?
Wow.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I do enjoy it. I really do. It's a challenge, and it's fun and rewarding.
But what a great set of parents, a property manager and a real estate attorney.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is the
Power
both
couple.
ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
And also, I might say Hillary is probably one of the nicest University of Oregon ducks that I've met. Okay?
That's a lot for you to say.
I'm going to throw that out there right now. Okay. All right. Danielle, what is it like right now in the market here in Southern Oregon, that the rental market? And tell people what you two are experiencing right now in your business.
The market's the same as it's been for the last. I mean, we're all hearing the same thing over and over again, but it's truly Vacancy rate is very low, right around 1%. It'll just get busier as the summer months.
So the busy months are still ahead now.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
obviously, it would have been the opposite, but okay, so that's coming up. All right.
Yeah. Summer's a big time. People move a lot in the summer. They settle down in September. They go through the holiday season. They don't like to move. And then they start jumping around again. So it's very busy, lots of movement. The biggest challenge is people trying to find rentals. We have so many people come to our door asking for, what do you have available? What's coming up? And we just don't usually have a whole lot. The minute we have something available,
it's gone.
It's gone.
It's like certain housing in certain price categories.
Correct.
They're gone.
Correct.
Hillary, what are y'all telling people then? I mean, the potential renters. And so what's so hard about this to me is that it's usually young people, young families trying to get started, trying to find some housing and can't do it, which are the most vulnerable in our community. So how can you help them? What is your advice to people who are trying to find a place right now?
Yeah, it is really scary for those people because, along with all of this, this crazy market we're experiencing, of course, the rental rates are going up and up. So it's really hard for somebody looking for something affordable to, first of all, lock something in. Second of all, something that they can actually afford. It's really hard to get ahead of things. Once you see something come up online, usually it's already applied for, maybe there's 15 applications on it already. So it's good to, if you do find something, make a call on it right away. Another thing that you can do is just be prepared to pay up front, be prepared to pay rent basically immediately. So, if you're moving in a couple months, you have to start looking now, but, you have to be prepared to start paying rent now.
What's going to happen when rents get to a point that we are putting people out of reach of affordable housing? Even not I'm not even talking about low income people or people who really are really struggle to find housing. I mean, we're talking about people that have pretty decent jobs and two people who work, and they're going to have a struggle to find a place.
That's the scary part. Hillary and I actually just met with a gentleman who is trying to put in a 108-unit complex in Medford.
Wow, really?
I think that people are starting to pay attention and realize that our problem is inventory. We need funding. We need more housing.
Well, we've had people in here. Some of our guests. Remember, if you had $1 million, what would you invest in? And I mean, the answers keep coming back. Multiple family units, duplexes.
I would build a neighborhood. If I
Things.
wanted the megabucks, I would build a neighborhood of rental units and just be set for life and beyond.
Absolutely.
Well, I know that there's we've been talking about this for a long time, this housing crisis, and nobody's in charge of it here in this county. We found out, even though we think that somebody is looking out for this, it isn't. It's total supply and demand kind of thing. Now there's a bunch of new apartments, that are going in over by Sherm's, Thunderbird, and Bimart over there on West Medford. And it looks like, there was a story in the Tribune recently on that, I remember, but it seemed like those are already filling up or have filled up. And they're not even finished yet. I'm sure they are. And I don't know what those rent for, but I'm sure that you're right. They're going to be done and gone, and then there's nothing left. So it's good to hear, though, Danielle, Hillary, that you are actually talking to other investors or landlords or whatever we want to call them that are seeing that's a great need out there.
And the conversation with this gentleman was he's getting funding. He's getting some help for it. The community is actually starting to take notice and want to help finance these because we're getting to a point where it is going to get scary. People can't afford to live here, and then we're all going to be in trouble.
That's the free market at work, though, because that potential for return over a long term down the line is going to get people into the game and going to get the apartments and the townhomes and all of that building that we need.
Right. It's really great to hear too that more properties are coming online as far as multifamily housing. Because there is such a need. What's kind of interesting, though, from where I came from in Eugene, it's the complete opposite up there, as opposed to down here. I mean, up there, we are scrounging to find tenants. We're marketing. We're trying anything we can. Yeah. Rents are, we're trying to push rents, but at the same time, sometimes having to go back down or compete, price match.
Now that just absolutely shocks me.
Didn't that catch
that
your
would be the case. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I know. It was shocking to me, too. I came down here, and Danielle was like, our big push is to find owners. We need more properties. And it was such a change for me because, I had tenants calling, hey, can you just take my name and number down? I'm like, oh, sure, I'll keep this in my list and I'll call them, no problem. And, there's 1,000 of them and it's, it is really sad, but it's good to hear more building is potentially about to happen. It's really about to break wide open down here. Who knows? I mean, it could totally flip.
What are the dynamics of the Eugene market? That's a big college town. For the relative size of Eugene, the university brings a lot of population.
Right.
What are the dynamics that lead to that oversaturated rental market? Because that sounds so out of place.
Well, but remember, U of O has built a number of more dorms. They're getting more students into certain clusters, and so that affects the rental market. Obviously, I would bet in Eugene, and maybe the economy up there is not maybe as good. These are all the things that I keep saying, Joe. I know these things.
Yes,
I study this stuff.
You must be on the real estate show a lot.
If the issue down here, then you two, and we're talking, by the way, to Danielle Roberts and Hillary Rufai from Sterling West Property Management today on the Real Estate Show. So if what you say is true about how do you get more properties to you? How do you get landlords? What do you tell them? I mean, I don't know how we solve this problem. I mean, there's all these sales going on, and all this is happening.
Well, we are so fortunate to work with great realtors all over the valley. Especially John L. Scott agents, because they refer so much business to us, and we're so grateful for that.
Sure.
That's like Danielle was mentioning, before we came on. It's kind of one of those things where, of course, the new properties are coming on that are being purchased, but the ones that we manage now are sometimes being sold. So it's a continuation of movement in our company, I guess.
One of the things we've done to try to get more property owners is we've opened an office in Ashland.
Okay.
And trying to hit the Ashland market. We're doing a slow start because we want to be able to keep our level of service and not just get completely inundated with people and not be able to keep up.
Sure.
But just the little bit that we've done has been very well received, and we've gotten a lot of business from that. Also, where it gets competitive for us is there's a lot of little property management companies all over the valley. So, and there's a lot of real estate agents or companies that are also managing property.
Sure, absolutely.
And so it feels like everybody's kind of trying to cash in on this, and there's just a lot of competition. So
that'll never come from Pete and I.
Right, I like that. That makes me happy.
We've said that for almost 7 years now on this show.
If I own rental property, I would have it property managed. I mean, I don't know why
You two would
somebody
be taking care of that.
Absolutely.
Not
I don't
me.
know why somebody doesn't want to do that. I mean, just because unless that's your full-time job and that's what you want to do,
You've really
and you
got to have the time.
and if you know the rules,
yeah,
go for it. I mean, you
One
can
good
always do that.
experience will definitely make you call.
I was going to say,
property manager.
I think most people, they get a good tenant and they go along and they do pretty well for a few years, and it really just takes that one bad experience. Then they say, "Oh, I need somebody else to do this for me."
Absolutely. Are the landlords that you work with, are they still buying some of the properties that are out there that are rental properties that are on the market and then turning them into rentals, or they're already rentals? Is that happening with the
or how many of those
people
are they selling with the market conditions improving?
Right, because if you're going to be an investor, you're going to probably buy something $250,000 maybe or less, something along those lines. And that's where, of course, everything is being sold. That's where most of the properties are being sold. So are they buying those up, or tell me where that's going on?
What I see we have about 25% of our owners who are actually investors who have multiple properties and are looking for more properties.
Okay.
The other percentage of our clients are people who maybe own one or two houses, realized that it was so lucrative that they could get these top dollar rents and that it was making sense. But then they also, when you guys get in your hot selling market, then they realize that it's very lucrative to sell. And we lose a lot of those.
So they can sell the properties.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes an investor picks them up and we continue to manage them. But I would say the majority of the time, it's a family moving in, and then the house is off the rental market. So
it's really interesting working with investors when the time is to invest.
Yes.
And to divest.
You got
and
it.
to get out. Yeah, it's a really tricky game, but boy, when you do it right, it can really work.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people who play that game.
And what you want to do is focus on that game and not on who's coming in and out of your property and all the other things that your property managers take care of.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's what good advice there. Now, you're also now we're going to talk about rents, and I know the laws have changed. We've got a break coming up here in a couple of minutes, so we'll talk about the new law here about rents and that kind of thing, because people need to know that, because I guarantee the tenants do. That's one thing we've learned also. The tenants know the rules, and you need to know them yourself if you're going to do this. That's for sure. So anyway, all right, so landlords are doing that. You've got a 1% vacancy rate roughly in the valley. You two are seeing so much business, you can't handle it, and you can use a lot more. I don't know how you solve any of the things that we've talked about here.
Sterling West actually has a 0% vacancy rate with their properties right now. So it's come down a little bit.
None. I mean,
at least it can't come down any further.
It can't go any further than that, right?
I mean, that's just like it's. And if others are in the same boat as you, this is really a screwed up rental market. I mean, it's really messy for folks.
Yeah.
The answer is more inventory. I don't know how we get it, but that's what we need. And
I don't know how you get it.
You got to believe there are people out there that are way ahead of this that are putting the wheels into motion and finding the land. And
all right. You go to those meetings at the county. Have you seen a bunch of properties going to come on
I
here?
don't think it's that far along yet, and it's mostly going to be in the cities, I believe, where we get this multi-housing.
I agree.
Well, we can't solve this problem today here on the Real Estate Show, but we've given it a good try. We're taking a break here. We're coming right back. We're with Sterling West Property Management, Danielle Roberts, and Hillary Rufai. We're coming right back to KMED, right after this. The Real Estate Show continues here on KMED. April the 30th is our date. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the Real Estate Guys, with us. Don't forget, you can check out all of our past shows at realestateshowOregon.com or at YouTube/Real Estate Show Oregon. You know, they're all there, both our cable TV shows, radio shows, terrific shows, great guests there. You're welcome to go in there and check them out anytime. Well, today here on the show, we're talking about rental properties. And, you know, you and I, we were always... We've been sitting here for 7 years talking about we're going to get a rental property. Remember, we're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're actually going to try this and see if we can do this. But Danielle says, because I had rental properties back in the day, a long time ago, and you're right. You have one experience and say, I'll never do that again, and that's exactly what happened. But a lot of people do it, and it's a terrific investment.
I think there's some potential there right now for sure.
And even just even trying to think of some of Alvarez and some of the guys who've been in here from our shows. Right. These are like builders, and they are themselves telling us here they're building duplexes, a fourplex. I mean, these guys people are recognizing. Maybe if that's the word that we're using today. People are recognizing the problem and the eventual profitability you can have in rental properties, I think. I'm hoping, right? I mean, that makes sense to me. And we're today with Danielle Roberts and Hillary Rufai from Sterling West Property Management here on the Real Estate Show. And, well, there's a lot going on, that's for sure. Now, there's been a new law. I love the Oregon. You got to love the Oregon legislature, or should I say the Democrats in the Oregon legislature, because all these rules pass just one-party vote. I hate this. Anyway, they have changed the rule regarding rentals, rent increases. Now, this has not come out of here, like we've learned in the rental market. It's Portland. It ain't Eugene, obviously. Hillary's told us today it's not happening in Eugene. But in Portland, it's a mess. So they've changed the rules now regarding this. So, Danielle, tell people what to expect there. What is it?
Go ahead.
So they changed, I think, in an effort to get the rent prices under control is where this law originated from. This is a prime reason why I suggest a property management company, because you get a rule like this to pass, and then there's so much gray area that to try to decipher it is a job. I mean, it really has. It's taken us a good month to really wrap our heads around it and understand it. But what they've done is imposed a new rule that if your tenant is on a month-to-month tenancy, in order to increase their rent, you have to wait a full year. They have to be in the home for at least a year before you can increase their rent. And then you have to give them a 90-day rent increase notice. So that sounds pretty cut and dry, and we all understand that. That's pretty easy. Where it gets complicated is all these little rules that happen inside of that. If you have a tenant who's in a lease for 12 months, and then their lease expires, and the owner doesn't want to sign a new lease, they just want it to roll into a month-to-month, which is very common in our company.
So I've got a lease for that year, and then I'm going to make it a month-to-month after that.
Right, and that's very common in our company.
It is?
Absolutely,
okay, so that's not unusual.
Not unusual. But this new law makes it to where it's actually, you can't raise the rent in the first year of a month-to-month tenancy, meaning even though I've lived in the property for a year, I've now become a month-to-month tenant. We still have to wait another year before we can increase the rent.
So that resets it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that resets it.
Interesting.
Now,
okay.
the other loophole is
okay.
the leases have their own contracts and their own set of rules. So you can sign a 6-month lease, and then on the day that 6-month lease terminates, you can sign a new 6-month lease and raise the rent. So
on a 6-month lease, I can just
or
raise,
a 3-month or a 2-month, because you're doing a lease.
A lease.
So it's not a rent increase.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now.
Even though it's only a short lease, it's not a rent increase per se, even though when I sign the next lease, it's going to have a higher
because
rate.
It's a new contract.
This sounds like most of the half-baked dishes that come out of Salem.
Oh my God! So what are you telling your landlords how to handle this? What are you saying to them then?
Well, right now we're suggesting that to give us the most flexibility until this gets worked out. We're kind of anticipating this law may be reworked a little bit. We're suggesting that each new tenant starts on a month-to-month agreement. That way, we're either in the first year of the month-to-month, so we're starting to get that out of the way, or if the law changes, we have the flexibility because we are still in that month-to-month, or we can also sign a new agreement, as Danielle mentioned, at a new rate at any time.
Okay, so if you're coming into someone new, okay, you got a person's going to come into a new rental with you. So you're recommending that they go to a month-to-month tenancy.
Correct.
And so the rent cannot be raised during that year.
Correct.
And if is this going to get away from leases? I mean, do you see this happening to where, because usually people say, you got to sign a 2-year lease or you got to sign a year's lease. But
yeah, it's interesting
are we going to get away from that?
I believe that's going to shift it.
Yeah.
I believe that'll shift it.
You think this is going to shift now?
Yes, I do.
Well, so what kind of protection does the renter have? If everything is a month-to-month tenancy, when then can the landlord say, I want you out? When can they do that then? How do they do that?
Well, if a tenant's been in a home less than a year, there's a 30-day notice to
less than a
evict
year.
them.
Okay,
Correct.
all right.
If they've been in a home over a year, it's a 60-day notice. So where the tenant, where this law was meant to protect the tenant, I see that it's not.
It's not going to.
I'm going to put you on a month-to-month, and I'm the landlord, and I'm going to give you a 30-day notice, and then I'm just going to re-rent it for a higher price.
Yes.
I'm not going to wait that year out.
And that's the unfortunate thing. I don't think that it was really looked at well enough and thought about. And they've even said that the next legislative session will readdress it because I think they're seeing
the error of their way.
We got together for 6 weeks and we tried to pass about 400 bills. Come on, of course the shoddy work.
You got it.
Well, to me, what's really bad about that is that if I'm going to rent a property and I go on a month to month and I have no security that I have to stay. I can stay for a year. I can stay for 2 years if I have a lease. Things like this. And if you had an unscrupulous landlord and they're out there, I mean they're out there, or you have I call them slumlords. I will say that to some of these people. But if that happens, the renters have no protection.
Man,
I just don't see how.
At night.
I don't see how
don't know when that rug's going to be pulled out from under me.
I don't see how that. I don't see how that helps the renter in any way.
It really doesn't.
Wow.
We work with a lot of really wonderful owners who, may just stay with leases and aren't really that concerned about bumping up $25 or, they understand that they're contributing to this bigger problem. But they're definitely ones that are out there that will do this.
Because I would think if I'm in the rental property business, I have properties, that I would want to have stable tenants and want to keep them as long as I can and keep them happy rather than going through the wear and tear and turnover of all the times of doing this or having everything in an uproar.
Yes.
Or if you're Tina Kotek, Peter Courtney's little lackey in the House of Representatives, you're making a lot of friends with your investors. So you're getting political contributions and you're selling out basically the renters of the state of Oregon to advance your little.
Well, it may have come this way, but the thing is, it was a different issue in Portland that's resulted in the unintended consequences of things that happened in Salem.
Right to the fore.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's really interesting. That's a real change in the way things are done.
That's
not very good.
That's why we're recommending right now to bring new people on a month to month because this has to change.
Yeah.
It will change.
To be fair to your owner investors,
Absolutely. Well, and to the tenants too because we don't want to sign them up in a lease because we think this way, and then now it's going to change in a month. So this gives us some flexibility to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they got to write it out with the rest
Unfortunately,
of us.
they do.
And do the rental associations, do you, the Oregon Association of Realtors are, I know, involved in some of these things, or did you hear from them or anything? What kind of stuff went on?
The Southern Oregon Rental Owners Association had a big part in kicking out a lot of the other bills that they were trying to pass when they passed this one. There was a lot of really really ridiculous. and SOROA sent letters out to all of us and asked us to speak with our congressmen and write
Great
letters.
Organization,
and we were able to kick down a lot of really ridiculous things.
Yeah. The thing is, these lawmakers never come and talk to the people who are involved in the businesses that do these things, of what's going to happen or affect of the laws with which they create. Obviously, the rental market is thrown into a turmoil over this.
It's hard to legislate from the 50,000-foot view.
Yeah, you got it.
It's crazier than the real estate market, ladies.
Sometimes.
That's why we would never do it.
If that's possible, it's crazier in the real estate market. We got one more segment to go. We're with Danielle Roberts and Hillary Rufai from Sterling West Property Management today on the Real Estate Show. Hey, hoping you're having a good day as well. We're coming right back to KMED right after this. The Real Estate Show rolls on KMED. April the 30th is our date. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the Real Estate Guys, with you. Don't forget, you can check us out at realestateShowOregon.com. All of our website, all of our shows are there. Of course, if you have any real estate questions, Joe or I are also happy to help you. You can email us or phone us anytime. We'd love talking with you. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of activity. My goodness, I've been traveling over, opening lock boxes. Just a lot going on, and in different price categories and stuff around. I mean, people are people are looking.
I give a little shout out to Shelley Richards, who's a listener to the program, and had contacted me a couple of weeks ago, and we're just peeking around at some options for her and just seeing what's out there. And I tell you, I love it when people contact us, because every time I delve in to their situation, what they're looking for, I learn so much about our market. It's a really good exercise. So just encourage you, if you have any questions or any thoughts or just want to know what's going on, give us a call.
You know, if 40%, 40% of real estate sales are from people outside the area who come here. And when you think about that, and there's, how many hundreds of sales go on, how many new people move in here, real estate brokers are actually the front lines of I don't want to say tourism, but the front line of showcasing our community to people. I guess, is that the right word to use? I don't know. It really is, because I love showing people from out of the area around. I take them on,
good stories.
I take
you
them
have good stories to tell. You know the history.
Yeah. It's cool like that. Well, anyway,
you're tailor-made.
It's a lot of fun. Today here on the show, we're talking with Danielle Roberts and Hillary Rufai from Sterling West Property Management. So far, we've learned a lot today that the rental market is a mess.
We don't want any part of it. We like them handling it.
You want somebody like them to handle your property management, but the issues and rules that are out there, and the tendencies and the things like that are out there, you want professional help. Don't do it yourself if you don't know. You really want to contact these people. Your business, I'm curious, Danielle, Sterling West, and you talked about there was a lot of people are in the business, actually. But your company, how did Sterling West actually get started? I really don't know the story behind that.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. It started out as a division of John L. Scott. It was actually called John L. Scott Property Management.
Oh, okay.
And there was a gal, just a one person, who basically what happened is a lot of your clients came in with property management needs. So a position was born, and she grew it a little bit, and it was fairly small, but doing well. And when I started working at John L. Scott in 2008, I came in as the accounting office manager kind of duo there, and I oversaw
that part of the business. Okay.
And I thought I wanted nothing to do with property management. I thought the same thing you guys thought. Holy cow, why would anyone do this? But what happened is the owner of the company passed away unexpectedly, and his wife, and I was very close to both Jimmy and Mary at the time, and when Jimmy passed away, his wife said, what am I supposed to do? I have no idea.
What do I do with this part of the business?
Right, and being a very great person, I mean, she could have closed everything down and walked away. And
you're talking about Mary West,
yes,
by the way,
yes,
who
Mary
is
West.
The owner of John L. Scott here, yeah? And a great and a wonderful person. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, she is. And she's such a great woman. And there was other businesses involved in other cities and things too. And she said, how could I put people out of work? I mean, I have to figure out a way to make this work. So we started working together. And as I looked at property management a little bit closer, I saw, well, this is actually a fairly stable business.
Yeah, a stable business, and it can be successful, and you can make money on it
with the right people in place and the right kinds of things. And so she said the same thing I said. Well, I wouldn't want to touch property management, and so she asked me to take it over, and so Sterling West was created, and I've been running it ever since.
You got your property manager's license then, and that kind of thing as well.
Got involved. At first, I thought I could just sort of be the business girl and hire people to take care of it for me, and quickly realized that wasn't going to happen.
And she's a great property manager.
That didn't work, did it?
That did not work. So I dived in head first, and here we are today.
And the rest is there.
Yeah.
And look how successful they are. When you got no properties out there because you're so full, that tells you must be doing something right. Well, and you've increased your inventory in your business there too.
What we've really done, one of the things that we're really passionate about, and all of the gals who work in Sterling West, is providing a quality service. So there was a lot of properties we had at the time where owners were, as you call them, slumlords, that we were able to move away from and replace with higher quality owners and properties.
Good for the business model.
And that's what you want, because you want a business model that way that has stability in it and all those kind of things.
Yes.
You want to work with nice people.
Good partners and clients.
Yes, and you want good employees, and we've able to really get some wonderful people working for us. Hillary,
got a good one here.
Hillary has been just absolutely wonderful and worth the wait. It took me a long time to get her, but
well,
she's very persuasive.
It's pretty persuasive on the deal. Well, you got to come with a lot of experience. You come with too, Hillary, and you got back home.
I am so fortunate. You know, it really did work out for the better, and I really didn't know anything about Sterling West coming into this situation, and in my experience, I've worked for a couple property management companies up in Eugene, and they were really good ones too, but this is by far the best, most honest, best service to our owners and our tenants. I'm definitely proud to be a part of the team here. I mean, it's been really, really great. I am very fortunate.
You're like almost Joe and I are into this John L. Scott family that we've kind of come into with the real estate part, Sterling West, and I know iMortgage is their part in the building and those kinds of things, but it really is true. It's a great place to be because of the people who were there and the enthusiasm they have for this business is contagious to me.
Just excellent professionals.
I love going where
you turn.
I get motivated just by being around many of the people there.
There's no question.
Isn't it true?
It's so motivating, and moving back to the area as an adult now, it's really great because the Rogue Valley is such a tight knit community, and like you said, the John L. Scott community is just like a family with Sterling West, iMortgage. But overall, the whole valley, there's so many people that, I happen to have connections with in one way or another, and everyone's just been so welcoming. And especially in the property management field, I was expecting to really beat the pavement and work hard and try and make connections, and everyone's been so welcoming, and there really is a need down here for good quality property management. So it's making my job a little bit easier.
Well, good for you, and good luck to you all. We're almost out of time there. I know you've got some new rental properties coming on the market soon. We're maybe out of time. You can tell us about them or something. You got anything you want to say about them?
We do. We have some great properties coming online. I just signed a property yesterday that is in East Medford. It's a beautiful ranch-style home. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, huge backyard. It is going to be renting for $1,700 a month. Well worth it, but we talked about rent prices very high for some folks.
That's one of the things. SterlingWestRentals.com is the website, right?
Thank you.
Yes,
it may not be much there, but that's the place to go. Well, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you again soon and see what's going on in this rental market in the next few months.
Thanks
as well.
for a great update.
That'll do it for the Real Estate Show today on KMED. Thanks for joining us here. For Joe Brett, I'm Pete Belcastro. Have a great weekend. everybody. We'll see you next Saturday here on KMED, and God bless.
To the Real Estate Show on KMED AM and FM radio, presented by John L. Scott Real Estate of Southern Oregon, along with All Cities Property Management, the Home Builders Association of Jackson County, Ditech Mortgage, the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. For guest information or to watch a past show, visit us online at realestateshoworegon.com. Join us again next weekend for Southern Oregon's one and only Real Estate Show on KMED.